Women Empowerment Circle, and today our topic will be on grief. I'm Jerica.
I'm Meg. I'm Larkia. I'm Miranda.
And I'm Brianna.
All right, so ladies, have you dealt with grief? And if so, how did you deal with it? And I'll start. I'm still dealing with it, which is my grandmother, even though it was 7 years ago. It's probably like the hardest loss I've had. It was even worse because the day she went into cardiac arrest, I had just left to take my daughter to her 2-week doctor's appointment. She literally just said bye, and I told her that I would see her when we got back. Stuff just happens so fast. And I think I haven't dealt with it because I'm seen as the strong one, and like everybody leans on me. So it's like, oh, okay, everybody else is crying. Somebody gotta be sane.
Yeah. For me, I went through two that really hit me hard. First of all, our grandmother. And the second one was my godbrother / best friend who passed like 4 years after that. First of all, my grandmother seen all of them graduate. The day I get my cap again was when she passed away. As far as dealing with the grief, first of all, I was there the day where she, had the heart attack, and I was literally upstairs talking to her. She's sitting in her wheelchair, we're talking. And I went back downstairs, I went back to sleep, and I hear my mom just like stomping on the floor, calling my name. I'm like, so I run upstairs, I wake up, I run up there. She's like, no, she's not breathing, I call 911 or whatever. At that point, I kind of felt like, she's leaving or whatever. And up to the point where she passed, I felt like I'm just expecting it at this point, and I know it's gonna happen. And then it happened, and I've never fully dealt with that. And then my godbrother's death was just completely random. First of all, he's like a year younger than me, and I was not expecting. My mom calls me and she's like, yeah, he passed. I'm like, who? Still ain't fully dealt with that neither. Yeah.
I had lost my my dad, and I've always had my grandpa. I didn't have a real relationship with my dad, and so I was always like, I'm the child, like he's supposed to check on me. I shouldn't have to be reaching out to him, but I knew my dad was sick, and I never just call him how are you doing, because I always have that defense of I'm the child, like you need to be reaching out to me. So I think I haven't really been able to heal from it and get over it, because I feel bad because I knew he was sick, but I didn't try to see him. I didn't try to reach out. So I'm it probably could have been a different relationship if I did my part as his child and not just leaving it on him. And then my grandma, of course, my grandma was our everything. My grandma raised us. She showed us what a real woman is. I don't see anybody else that I can look up to the way that I did my grandmother. And so dealing with it is kind of hard, but then you can still have those sayings she would say that will help you get through it and be like, okay, I got this, or I think she would be proud of us. And then meeting these milestones and doing these things, it's we don't have her to celebrate it with, so it makes it a little harder. The D&J beauty that me and my sister had, that was named after my grandmother. Her initials is D&J. And it's just she didn't even get to see that. My kids would never get to experience her.
Dealing with grief, you never really stop dealing with grief. It's just a different level of it. Losing my grandma, I didn't really get to mourn how I wanted to, because I was in the middle of a custody battle. It was just a lot going on, a lot of emotions, and it was unrealistic. Did this really happen? Sometimes it occurs to me that, wow, she's really, really gone. And I feel like I haven't quite dealt with that. Although we didn't, she wasn't one who raised me, that was my grandma. And there was something about her personality that has been passed down through all these generations. And I was blessed enough to be a part of that lineage. And so I haven't really had a chance to reflect on like what that did to me, you know, like losing her, what that did to me. So recently my cousin put up a post of him with her. And so, but to add, for as many of us as there was, we all have a relationship and a genuine one. And so sometimes, like I can go a while and it won't cross my mind. And then it'll like come up and it's like, it happens all over again.
I think that dealing with grief, it has a lot to do with where you are in your life. It definitely is hard when you're in the middle of your own world and then this thing, happens and it's like you can't catch your breath. So it can make it hard to deal with grief. But I'm learning that there is no time limit on it. As a believer, I understand death is not the end. But you can never be prepared. It doesn't matter if they was in the hospital this whole time or if you knew that they were already sick. You can never be prepared. It just always hits hard. And how I've dealt with it is just kind of letting myself feel those things. And you guys probably understand this as well because of the stature of our grandmothers in the church. It kind of interfered with me initially being able to feel what I needed to feel. Like that's why I'm like, again, I don't believe that there's a time limit on grief because I definitely didn't get to do it right around.
Exactly.
There is no time frame, and I hate when people try to be like, "Oh, you should be over it." I think you will never fully be over it.
And it just comes out of the blue. And I don't like when people say, "Oh, it gets better as the time goes on." Like to me, it gets harder as the time goes on.
It's not as hard hitting as it was the first time, but it still hurts.
And I say, feel your emotions. Let yourself breathe.
Yeah, sometimes in grief, I don't want to say there's a lesson because not always, but nothing makes you appreciate life more than a loss. That's one of the things that I definitely feel like grief is useful for.
And I feel like people need to use their common sense when someone has passed.
There are phases to grieving.
And that's one thing too, people deal with it differently.
Yeah.
That's one key thing, not everybody deals with it the same.
And I think that's something we need to respect for different people too.
Exactly,
Like,
'cause
just
you don't
because
know.
just because there are people that like love the attention, and then there's the people that don't.
Yeah.
Like, be
I
okay
need
to
space.
ask them maybe, if,
Right.
hey, how can I be here for you?
And ask God to tell you what to do and how to be of service, or if you need to be of anything.
Even be there.
You might just need to be okay. No, I'm just gonna sit this one out. You're not obligated to do anything.
Yeah.